Let's talk about the Moore Irwin House. The Moore Irwin House is just off of Moore Road, right about here, just past where the creek, Trout Creek, crosses the road. The Moore Irwin House is very old, at least the core of the building is very old. We think that the original building would have been a log cabin, probably built in the early 1700s, which was then replaced with a stone house, probably one floor in the middle 1700s. And then in the early 1800s, a second floor must have been added. You can see that original portion of the building. If you look at the picture of it, you can see it's between the two chimneys. You get a pretty clear view. That would be the portion of the house that dates from before the early 1800s. The interesting thing is that when it was still owned by the Moores, it became Muhlenberg's quarters. General Muhlenberg was the head of the Pennsylvania militia during the encampment of Valley Forge. So we are fairly sure that that house was his headquarters and the troops encamped around him. After the war was over, George Washington actually came out here to visit the old campground again. He visited various farmers. He recorded these things in his diary. He had conversations with the farmers about what they were growing, but he actually stopped by the house and stayed there. He and some of the other people that were with him fished in Trout Creek, actually. So the house, it's interesting, the house has some real history to it. After that, the house came into the hands of the Irwin family, which was a rich family from Philadelphia. And in the early 1940s, they had an architect named Rognard Oakey sort of expand the house. He was known for taking old colonial era farmhouses and expanding them in beautiful style, lots of woodwork, and turning them into mansions, essentially. So that's the Irwin part of Moore Irwin. In any case, it was a beautiful house right next to the creek. There was an arboretum on the grounds with many rare trees. There's actually a Pennsylvania champion tree, in other words, the largest of its kind in Pennsylvania on that. So there's lots of rare trees there. But the interesting thing is it sort of got surrounded by all the development in King of Prussia in the 1950s and 60s. It was given to the township of Upper Merion, and the house itself was used for various things. It was a parenting center for a while, it was a cultural center for a while, but sadly fell into disrepair over the years, to the point now where we're worried about it structurally. And currently there is a movement afoot in the township to raise the money to bring it back. And that's pretty much where it stands now.